The Nets have put together a super team with Kyrie, Harden, Kevin Durant, and yeah, all great high volume scorers. They have a lot of scoring titles in between all of them. Harden had 3 in a row. Kevin Durant had many before that. And Kyrie, we know he's mad efficient. But even though they look scary and they added all these pieces like Blake Griffin and Nicholas Claxton is improving, you shouldn't be worried about them.
There's a new dynasty in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors champions once again. Third, the momentum has changed. I was exhausted with 46.7 remaining.
In 07-08, when the Celtics made their super team with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen, the whole world was like, fuck, they're due for at least 3 championships. Well, to be honest, to start, they were right, bruh. The Celtics started off on a win streak. They ended 66-16, and in their first year, they won a championship. Then the very next season, what happened? Why didn't they win a championship? Well, they lost to Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol. Yeah, the very next year, it was the same story. But they weren't really supposed to be losing to Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol. We know how good Kobe is, but this team was really due to three-peat. And shit, the expectations were through the roof. Yes, they did get that super team later in their career, and maybe if they were in their prime, they would have won 1 or 2 more. But this super team disappointed, and that's going to be one factor that keeps repeating itself. In 2010, the Miami Heat formed a super team. You know what I'm saying? We all saw that introduction video with LeBron James saying crazy shit.
Not 2.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6.
And in 2011, they disappointed. And between LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, who were all in their prime, you would think the best player is LeBron James. And I mean, you're right. He was the best player. But in that finals, for some reason, Dwayne Wade got over 20 shots more than him. Chris Bosh, as the third option, even got more shots than him. And LeBron James took the 3rd most shots while being the best player in the league. Now in 2011, we saw this. They clearly didn't have, they had what it took to win the championship, as in talent, defense, offense, complete. They have the whole arsenal. But the one thing that they were missing was a scheme. Back then, it was still Dwayne Wade's team, and I love Dwayne Wade. He's my favorite player of all time. But you shouldn't be doing that when you have the best player in the world on your team. And so that year, to say the very freaking least, they disappointed. In 2012 and 13, yes, they did go back-to-back and win 2 championships. But to say the very least, that super team disappointed. In 2014, they did lose, and it was more to injuries than anything. But man, that was another super team that just disappointed. Even in 2013, an attempt to get Kobe Bryant 1 more championship, the Lakers went balls to the wall. Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, Pau Gasol, Kobe Bryant. They had a great looking team. And, well, to say the very least, it disappointed. They ain't win shit. And the biggest thing here, another super team disappointed. We even saw earlier in the Lakers franchise when they had a young Kobe and a prime Shaq, and they tried to bring in Karl Malone and Gary Payton, and they tried to form that super team. Well, they disappointed and lost. In 2016, the Golden State Warriors signed Kevin Durant after going 73-9. I was pissed when this happened because we knew that in reality, that team's not going to be stopped. But in the end of the day, they did disappoint. And yes, they won 2 championships, but they still disappointed. They were never supposed to go to 7 games in that 2018 Rocket Series. That was not destined to happen. You have way too much talent, way too much all-time talent at that. There is no reason for you to be taken to 7 by an inferior Rockets team. And not only was it taken to 7, you needed 27 threes in a row to miss, and you needed Chris Paul hurt to get to that finals. Not only that, we knew how strong the super team was because the next season, Stephen Curry by himself Although, you know, he still did have Klay and Draymond. Draymond was big in that Portland series. I'm not going to doubt that. But the 2019 Western Conference Finals, Klay kind of laid an egg. He wasn't playing the greatest. But Stephen Curry averaged 37 points in that Western Conference Finals series. We knew how strong this fucking team was, bro. Ain't no way you're going to be without Kevin Durant and you still sweep in the Western Conference Finals. But besides that, they still disappointed. I wouldn't say Stephen Curry disappointed, but the team as a whole disappointed. And yeah, we knew injuries disappointed them in the 2019 season. I think that even if Klay stayed healthy, they could have still won that championship. But it's still disappointing. Injuries completely ruined that 2019 season for them in many ways. Now, the common theme with super teams is that they have disappointed a lot. Why I'm saying to not be worried about the Brooklyn Nets is not that they don't have crazy star potential, because they do. Kyrie Irving, if you get Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant to work in the playoffs, they're winning the finals and they're winning the championship. Their defense has been fine. It's actually been pretty solid. This team is looking deadly scary, but they're bound to disappoint at one point. Whether it be injuries or not, something's going to keep them in their way from three-peating or four-peating or some shit like that. I doubt that they come out of this with more than 2 championships. And not only that, no disrespect to the Brooklyn Nets, but the two that they built around with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, they've been somewhat injury prone. Kevin Durant has missed a lot of games this year. He came off a torn ACL from last year. Kyrie Irving had like a broken hand last year. He's been missing games this year. I mean, we all want to see him do well and be healthy. I think health is more of a luxury to them right now than it is a reality.